Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for the Week Research and Injury Prevention Group 2025 Professional Development Series. We will begin with our first presenting intern, who is Asha. She will be attending Columbia University and will be presenting on how to ask for a letter of recommendation. Asha, when you're ready, you can share your screen.
Thank you so much for the intro. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, perfect. So I will be presenting on letters of recommendation, how to ask for them, and basic details of what we should look forward to when we're requesting for these letters of recommendation. So just to begin, what exactly are letters of recommendation? Essentially, it's an outside testament of your characteristics and highlights aspects such as academic profile, leadership, and personal qualities. They're often integral in most applications, whether that be scholarships, undergraduate, master's, PhD, postgrad, or medical school. They're also needed in most scholarly endeavors. So whenever you fill out an application, it's more than likely that they'll ask for either one or two or more letters of recommendation. So who exactly writes these letters? So in general, for speaking for all these programs that I previously mentioned, it's a professional who you work with or you do research with and who sees and attests your valuable qualities. So I broke it down into these two really to differentiate the two programs that we encounter most often, which is undergraduate and medical school. Undergraduate, typically, we'd use the Common App to submit their letters of recommendation. It consists of two teachers, one humanities and one science or math, an optional third or fourth letter, as Common App has a maximum of four letters of recommendation. These letters often differ from teachers and can be community leaders, program advisors, and it's typically recommended, at least for undergraduate applications, that your recommenders should be from junior or senior year of high school or someone you've worked with, preferably throughout the entire duration of your high school experience. Now, for medical school, according to the portal, they have a maximum of 10 letters of recommendation. And typically, depending on whichever medical school you apply to, they would require from 2 to 5 letters written. This consists of mentors, professors, and doctors shadowed or research that the student has done. And essentially, what you really want to highlight is leadership, personal qualities, and specific skill sets and a keen interest in science. And then for scholarships, depending on the foundation or the scholarship you would like to apply to, the letters of recommendation from recommenders can vary. So, for example, for a more liberal arts oriented scholarship, regarding, let's just say, a presidential scholarship, for example, the Ronald Reagan Scholarship, they would typically require a social studies or humanities based teacher as opposed to mathematics, and they might specify that. So, it's a good thing to research. So, in our academic careers, we've worked with a multitude of teachers, advisors, and so how does one decide who to pick? The few questions you want to ask yourself is how long have you worked with the recommender? Did you do well in that particular class? Have you participated or shown interest in that subject? Is this an internship or outside recommender? So, like I mentioned, for undergraduate, you typically want two teachers, but do you want your third letter to be an outside extracurricular? And then what aspects of your application would you like to highlight? Do you want to highlight more leadership? And so do you want to ask an internship advisor? Ultimately, you want to pick a recommender who can personally speak on your behalf and about you best, as authenticity and validation, and more so a general holistic idea of yourself is key. So before you even talk about requesting letters of recommendation, first ask yourself, when are my deadlines? You really want to organize your programs that you're looking to apply to, the deadlines for that, and the deadlines for when letters of recommendation need to be uploaded. This allows you to give your recommender ample time, as the last thing you want to do is rush your recommender to write a letter for you. So there are multiple steps for requesting. Step one, always the best option, which is ask in person well in advance. You typically want to schedule a quick sit down, phone call, or Zoom to help your recommender get to know you better, share why you're applying to the school, what you intend to pursue, and why you think you were a good fit. A short conversation also shows commitment, dedication, a personal initiative, and just a good impression. If you cold email a professor just asking for a letter of recommendation, it could often be seen as inconsiderate. So always try to ask them in person first. Also consider bringing or sharing a quick brag sheet, as it's a quick visual of your activities and allows your recommender to get a holistic idea of who you are as an applicant. And this is a quick example of a brag sheet, your name, whatever school you go to, your GPA, basic test scores, and then basic information about the activities and then the work experience that you have, along with basic words, a few words about your goals, and a few notes. Essentially, this is just a quick overview as you talk with your recommender about why you want to apply to this opportunity. And so the next step after you meet with your recommender is to send them an email follow-up, which is thanking them for their time and conversation, the application requirements, the portals and the deadlines, and then more so how to submit a recommendation. Here it is recommended to also include your resume and a personal statement, just so as the deadline comes closer, they can go back and they could be refreshed on who you are and what drives you. This allows the recommender to have your academic profile, your extracurricular involvement, and your passion. And just to quickly go over this email template, I thought this was good. First, you really want to approach them professionally. They're doing you something like a favor to help you advance professionally. So always address them. Be sure to mention which school, company name, or scholarship you're asking for. Remind them your relationship to you, the recommender. For example, if you were the president of a medical club, you want to put the name of the medical club, um, and then as the advisor or whatever role they served, you can mention a list of a few skills that you've acquired or certain projects that you've completed under their leadership. Make sure to mention the deadline, attach your resume brag sheet, and then also the requirements to do so. And then once again, have a professional sign off. So step three, assuming that you do ask them well into advance, as we know, professors get busy, recommenders get busy with their careers, and so they may have forgotten or may have not gotten to your letter of recommendation. And so it's nice to send a polite follow-up just a few weeks after. The last thing you want to do is continuously nag at your recommender. However, if you notice on your portal 2 weeks or 1 week before the deadline that the letter has not been submitted, it's always good to just send a follow-up email. And this was a good template that I thought was good, which is once again address them respectfully, remind them when you sent the initial request, remind them what you are applying for and the deadline, and whether there's any additional information or things that you could provide for them. And once that's all said and done and your application is submitted, be sure to send everyone who wrote you a letter of recommendation a personalized email, really thanking them for their help. This strengthens your connections with your mentors, appreciation, and really a level of professionalism that you want to convey, and then makes it easier for you to ask their assistance in the future. It would be rude if you ask them for a letter of recommendation, they submit it, but you never really fully give them closure of what happened with the program, if you got through, and how much their influence is meant to you. Also, if you choose to do so, though it's recommended, inform your recommender about your program status afterwards, where you got in, and this just informs them of their impact on you and your future. So a few key takeaways just to sum this all up, the earlier the better. Basically, know your deadlines, do meticulous planning, consider who will be your best fit. Do you want to have one professor over the other? Do you want to do an advisor, a professor, and another professor, or how you want to lay out your application story? Always ask in person and include your brag sheet, and then follow up with a respectful email, include your resume, personal statement, and be sure to send a thank you note. Letters of recommendation are crucial for career development as we move out, and be sure you can master the skill of requesting as you will need it at some point in your professional career. These are my references, And are there any questions?
Thank you for that excellent presentation. Are there any questions? Or Dr. Lopez, do you have anything to add?
Hi, Asha. This is not a question, it's more of a comment. I would like to thank you for your great presentation. I thought a really great point that you brought up was to make sure that you email professors, or not email, excuse me, but talk to professors ahead of time, as we don't really want to like
Yeah, rush
pressure
them
them.
essentially. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. Yes. Thought that was a really great point. Thank you.
thank you.
Hey, Asha, I also wanted to add on. I thought it was a great presentation, but I think one thing that was really good that you stressed was the importance of having someone recommend someone who is speaking on your behalf that knows you very well, as opposed to somebody who may be a very big deal but may not know you very well. I think that that is
Yeah.
very important because a lot of the application processes nowadays are very holistic. So having as much of a complete picture as possible painted of you from your recommender is really key.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you've all heard me say, or maybe you haven't, but when you thank them, or let's start first with asking them, I definitely take that effort, put a brief cover letter of what I'm trying to do, put my resume behind it, and I hand sign the inquiry, and give it to them in an envelope. I mean, it's old school, but you have to kind of read the room of who you're catering to and try to see if you can get the best letter you can. Um, you can go for these, really big wigs, um, but as long as you put together, an appropriate approach, follow up, thank you at the end, those are the important things. But I do think a cover letter with your resume attached and any awards or anything like that, maybe like a one certificate or something, just to give them an idea, validation of what you've done, something very important. That makes a big difference. It goes a long way because then, when you ask them for a letter of recommendation, they've already have a relationship with you. And, they even though it's a paper relationship, they're starting to see who you are. And that's where they'll comment on that in the letter. But I think, Philip, you also pointed out it's better sometimes to go with someone who knows you better, but you can try. It's always good. Like I said, now they're allowing you to put, I don't 10 letters. I've never heard that before. I think I was limited to 3 letters. Larry, how did you go about your letters when you applied to medical school?
I tried to find, I had a doctor I shadowed, so that's who I went with. But other than that, I tried to find people who I didn't know for a lifetime, but who knew me decently well. So like I had like my friend's dad was an assistant principal, but I knew him for like 20 years, so I kind of left him out versus somebody who I may have known for like 5 years, who didn't have that long-term relationship but still knew me well.
And the doctor that you shadowed, um, did you shadow him for a long period of time, a little bit?
Uh, on and off for 2 years, I would say.
Hmm. Like I said, it's always a challenge when you're trying to do that. Um, I guess, the higher level professionals, Lily, when you applied to your master's degree program, who did you reach out to?
I reached out to you, and I also reached out to two of my professors. We needed two institutional and then one outside recommender.
So they only allowed 3.
Yeah.
All right. And then
I
Larry,
think it
what did you
was you
how
could have
many?
submitted
Sorry, go
more,
ahead.
but I think it was like recommended 3. If you submit more, you can, but they like didn't really want more than 3.
Yeah, like I said, I know you kind of stay with that 3, that number 3, as long as you satisfy, the 2 institutional, 1 outside. Um, How many did you put all together, Larry? Did you put many or no?
I want to say 5 around. I think that's
Ooh,
yeah.
okay. And were they all in the health career or healthcare industry or?
I think I had a doctor, 2 professors, um, and then some school administrators. I'm kind of blanking on it, but something along the lines of that.
Okay, it's just so that obviously your experiences give everyone here on the call an idea of what you can put together. And again, a lot of the people on the call here are at that juncture where they should be inquiring about these letters. It take time. I think if you do not give the person enough time, like it's really key right now to probably be inquiring about these letters. They won't address it until September or they get back to campus, but at least your hat's in the ring, everyone who needs these letters. And don't think that whether you're going to take a year off or gap year or 2 years, that doesn't matter. You should really start inquiring about these letters. It as soon as you can, you should be trying to get these letters. These letters are very important to give a picture, as Asha emphasized, of who you are and how you're applying the stuff. It makes a big difference. All right. On that note, thank you.
All right, so that will conclude our call for today. We thank you, everyone who joined us for the Rugby Research and Injury Prevention Group Professional Development Series. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.